everyone, and welcome to another episode of Four Rex. We're your hosts, Forrest and Karina, and our very own Jay Stone is back in the seat. Tonight, there's no extra guests because this is our end of the year episode where we've carefully picked out 4 different pieces of music from this year. This year made me old. I hate to admit it, but what the fuck is 6-7?
Yep.
Please.
And even I'm happy, actually. I'm old enough that my kid is old enough that she's like, what the fuck is 6-7?
My Emily's not into it. Like I think I've ruined my children with like things that are like the pop culture thing where I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll even make jokes just to mess with her. That's how bad it is with Emily.
It's not even that. It's just like the whole steal it brain rot situation. Where the fuck? Why isn't it dead yet? It needs to die today.
They retired the number 67 at In-N-Out Burger out here because of 6-7.
That's crazy.
But they kept 69.
First off. Well, and the other one I kept seeing all week is that people were all like, 6-7 is stupid. And then they put up Cornholio stuff. And I'm all like, whoa, yeah, Cornholio. Right. But Cornholio has a thing behind it. It's not a it's not a one-trick pony.
There's layers here, young people.
There are layers you don't understand about.
Oh, shit. Cass was watching something on, I think it was YouTube. No, wait, it was on Netflix. I think it was Teen Titans or something. And it sounded like Cartman from South Park. And I jumped up, like, super excited, going, oh my God, are you watching South Park? Can I watch with you? And he went, no, Mom, I'm watching Teen Titans. And I went, okay, never mind then.
Well, that Teen Titans show isn't bad. It's just very much like a kid show. I mean, they just took that concept and just made it, kids, and it's not horrible compared to a lot of the other ones, but
we're looking at you, Pepper Pig. I have no idea what you guys have picked.
I am still trying to figure out what I picked. Like we're all gonna figure out what I picked in real time.
Ooh, that's gonna be fun. I knew a few. I was gonna try to do it themed to the show, but I just didn't have time to sit and math it all out.
Boo.
Sorry. So now it's very unordered. Yeah, it's very not themed as as I would have liked it to be.
Actually, I like that because I do like the chaos, like the chaotic vibes in it. I've been around the world, around the music world. I think I have like some math rock in there. And I have some, electronic stuff.
Mine jumps genres. Like each of mine I would say are very different genre. Or not, they're all in punk, but they're different flavors of punk, if you will.
Oh, that's fun. Who wants to start, Jay?
You're our guest. The guest should go first.
The guest should go first. So I'm trying to figure out like how brief to keep most of these because I could ramble forever and ever and ever. But this is also a year-end wrap-up show, and so it shouldn't be like 7 hours long of like Jay explains why he picked one over the other. So I actually, unlike some people, did stick with the theme. And so I broke the year. I broke the year into quarters.
I did that.
And so I just did my favorite record from each quarter. And then I immediately hated myself because 2 of my favorite records of the year came out on the same day. And that actually happened, I think, twice throughout the year. So if I were doing like a genuine top 5 or top 10, it might actually look different than my 4 records does, which is a really weird thing to happen. But so for Q1, which was January to March, it was a coin flip between Lenny Lashley's Pray for Death, which came out on Valentine's Day, which I think is awesome. I love that record. I love it start to finish. I love Lenny as a human being. He's one of my favorites. But I went with and I actually have like props too, right? Which makes for great radio because nobody can see what I'm doing. But Tim Hause's Pre-Existing Conditions, which also came out Valentine's Day, the same day as Lenny's Pray for Death. I love this record. I love another one that like I love Tim as a human. I liked Tim's first record a lot. I got to hear it way before it came out. He leveled up in every possible way this time. Like it's a really great rock and roll record. It deals with a lot of really heavy subject matter,
Mm.
but it doesn't drag you down in the muck like musically. Like it's generally an up-tempo rock and roll record, and that sort of helps, I think, like salve some of the heavy feelings. Like there's stuff about suicidal thoughts and being in a mental hospital and your mom dying when you're a little kid and your best friend dying like Thanksgiving, and like there's a lot going on in this record, but I love it. Like Tim did a great job. He knows my thoughts on it. But that is my four records pick for quarter one.
Can I just
Yeah.
say that the album, like the album cover for what was it
Again, I'm
called?
going to show it to
Yeah,
you, which
Pre-Existing Conditions, like the thumbs up. It's so nice. It's
the thumbs
so
up, but with the hospital bracelet on.
yeah.
Like it's a
Yeah.
hospital bracelet from when he checked into the cashew factory once a few years ago. Yeah, he did. It's such a good job. It's like
Yeah, but it's so
yeah.
easy and it's so pleasing. It reminds me of Getting Killed, like the album cover for Geese's new album, Getting Killed. Let me see if I just can't quickly show the screen or something. I'll share it to you in the wait, you can Google it yourself, guys. It's Getting
What did we
Killed
call
by
it?
Geese. Getting Killed.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I like. Oh, I can see that. The same
Yeah,
sort
it's
of.
so simple.
Yeah.
But at the same time it's not, there's a lot happening at the same time.
Yeah, and I like it's a little bit, not a little bit. It's really
Oh yeah.
dark humor, I think.
Mhm.
Like giving the thumbs up from being in a psych ward. Like, yes, it is positive. Like, yeah, I made it, but I think it's also like dark humor too. And I think that there's a lot of dark humor probably in a lot of the music that I listen to, but especially in Tim's record, he has this way of sort of like cutting to the core of an issue in a way that's heavy, but it can be like funny. Um, Also, not the only time, like spoiler alert, but not the only time we'll hear from one of the Hause brothers in my four
What?
records of 2025.
What? Who is
Shockingly
shocked?
enough.
Not the one. Not
No,
what?
But
you can't. No, you're lying.
and so I'm
But
totally
with
gonna
good
cheat.
reason, because it.
Right, right.
After the
My
Sunday, like I said, after with good reason, as of a
exactly,
week ago for me.
exactly. Quarter two, which was April to June, there were some really good records that came out. The Kilograms record, which as it turns out will be their only record, came out in April. The Dead Pioneers record, which I certainly should have covered more and I didn't and I forgot, but they're a Native American punk rock band.
Yeah,
They're really great. That came out in April. The Fishbone record is fun. That came out in June.
that's such a good album too.
But
Yeah.
I'm actually going to cheat. My four records is going to be five because I quite literally can't choose between the two from quarter two. As tough as quarter one was, I can't choose between quarter two. And I went for like a 4 mile run, jog, whatever this morning. And I listened to both of these records. And as I listened to the first one, I'm like, yeah, it's got to be this one. And then I listened to the second one. I'm like, yeah, it's got to be this one. Fuck. And then I started over. And so we're at a tie. April 25th brought us the Smoking Popes. Lovely stuff. I
So
love
good.
this record from start to finish. It's so good. It's everything that's right about the Smoking Popes. Like it sounds great. Like they recorded it well. Jenny from Reckoner did the artwork for it, so that's cool. Like I love that record so very much. And also coming in first place in quarter two is "I'm Not You" by Ways Away, which again should have covered more than I did, but I love this record always and forever. It is, for people that don't know Ways Away, It's Jesse from Stick to Your Guns. It's Sergi from Sam I Am and a bunch of other bands. It's Jared Shavelson from a shitload of bands. Chad Darby also from Sam I Am and from Chris Wallard's band. It's so good. It's like I don't even know how to explain it. And really, I think Jared on the drums, like I love Sergi from Sam I Am. I love everything that he's really ever done musically. Having Jared from all of the bands play drums on this record, like he's such a brilliant drummer. It gives like this really cool vibe to like what could be a Sam I Am record. Like some of these songs could be Sam I Am songs, but between Jesse's vocals and Jared's drums, like it's great. It's I guess you'd call it, I don't know, post-hardcore slash whatever Sam I Am is, slash there's some like twinkly Midwest emo guitar. Like I love it. I love that record so much. It's probably definitely one of like my two favorite records of the year. Let's see, quarter three. Shout out to the Dropkick Murphys because their record came out 4th of July and it's really good. And I don't always say that about Dropkick Murphys. We have an interesting relationship up here, but I'm like all on board whatever the Dropkicks do lately and the giant FU they've been giving to the Trump administration. I'm here for it. The Deftones record came out in Q3. Ben Nichols' record came out in Q3, and I like that a lot. But I am giving that quarter three, 4 records to Dave Hause and the Mermaid, obviously.
Nice.
Dave has, we've talked on this show at length. I've written probably 140,000 words about Dave Hause over the years. He put out a rock and roll record, and that's very much what it is. Like him and his actual band, rather than just studio musicians, locked themselves in a studio in Vancouver and made a really, really great rock and roll record. And he gets to play frontman rather than like just guy with an acoustic guitar in a band. Maybe sometimes like he gets to go back to that Loved Ones thing of being a rock and roll frontman. Like it's a great, great record.
Which, by the way, he was a fantastic frontman, dude. Like watching him,
He
finally getting to watch him play. Like I'm happy I know he was playing that show in Orange by me at that record store,
Yeah.
and it probably would have just been him and a guitar. But I'm happy my first Dave House experience was with the Mermaid. It would have been cool to buy the record from him there and like talk to him and meet him. But like just that set was just so. Johnny even dug it. Johnny was having
That's
fun
awesome.
with Dave House and the Mermaids.
Yeah, as much as like he's kind of leaned into, I don't know, there's sort of like 80s rock inspired theme. Like he grew up a child of the 80s, so like Bryan Adams and Springsteen and whatever. So there's like he's kind of leaned into that path musically, I think. But he's a rock and roll. He's like punk rock frontman. Like he was in the Loved Ones for years.
It's a good mashup.
Black, and like he can do that. Like he's got frontman energy, and it doesn't matter if it's just him and a guitar or if it's him in a band. But like he knows how to play the crowd. He knows how to do that thing. And I think the last time I saw him with the Loved Ones was probably close to 10 years ago now. They did a anniversary tour, and I had been seeing him a bunch solo and just with a small band before that for a long time. And I hadn't seen the Loved Ones in forever, and seeing him in that role is like, oh yeah, like that's the thing he does. Like he's a front man. Like he can sing, he can play guitar. He plays guitar better than I think a lot of people realize, but he's a front man. Like he's destined to be on the front of a stage playing the crowd. Yeah.
But I will say I feel your Bryan Adams comparison is right. I think Bryan Adams more than Springsteen, honestly.
Yeah.
Based on based on seeing him. I think I kind of lumped a lot of that into the Springsteen when we did your 4 records.
Yeah, and like I talked to Dave about that years ago, and there was a record where he sent it to me to listen to, and I texted him back. I was like, I don't know if I should say this because I don't know how you'll take it, but I feel like there's Bryan Adams on this record. And he was like, dude, that's a huge compliment. But because I think because of that song from the Robin Hood movie, Everything I Do, which
the Robin Hood movie that everybody watched.
Such a shitty song. Like, I don't know if that's a Diane Warren song or whatever, but I loathe that song. And I think that tainted like Bryan Adams' Reputation for some people
Well, is it
because
that one, or is it the other one he did for the Don Juan DeMarco? That one was worse than that.
oh no, right, you're right. Both of them. Yeah, that
Those,
was a bad song.
unless Wonder Twins combine and just tank a
Yeah,
career, because you don't
that was
really
a
see them
bad
much
time.
after that though. Like you don't really see them
No,
much after that movie soundtrack.
I forgot about Don Juan DeMarco. So maybe that one's actually worse, and it's so bad that I've blocked it out.
Probably.
That's funny. Okay, let's go to quarter four, which is the most recent quarter, which few good records. School Drugs, the funeral arrangements thing came out in quarter
So good.
four, which granted it's been coming out for a couple of years because it's 4 EPs put together, but that's a fun one. The Military Gun record, God Save the Gun, is pretty fun. But my favorite album of the year is Weekend Friends, Feels Like Hell, which came out October 10th. And it's just like start to finish, it's my favorite album of the year. Weekend Friends is such a cool band. They don't really sound like anybody else that's out there right now anyway. It's part of it's like a throwback to, I don't know, like my 90s alternative days, like the Dinosaur Jr. era, whatever, but they're also like post-punk and
I think you
like
sold me on Weekend Friends.
I love a power trio, you know, like
Mm.
they put on a great live show. They've really sort of come into their own the last couple years or whatever. Sonya's a great songwriter. The band has great energy. Like, love them. Probably, it's got to be my favorite record of the year. That Ways Away and Smoking Popes and Dave Hause are all kind of like they would be the final four probably. But yeah, love it.
And
Start to
that's
finish.
your order.
And Buckethead is on that record too. Like for I don't know how they got him. I have yet to ask them, but somehow Buckethead plays a guitar solo on a song on the Weekend Friends record, and that's just like totally random because Buckethead shreds. So that's my four records, which obviously is five records, but whatever. It's punk rock. I don't care.
It's not. You can have an honorable mention. We encourage those.
Well, I guess the honorable mention would be the Lenny Lashley record too, if I'm being honest, because that was the real coin flip. But yeah, my final four is probably six. But that's usually the way it goes. Dave Buck, the old owner of Dying Scene, used to tell us to make a top 10 list, and I would routinely come in 13, 15, 18. So it's like, Dave, it's punk rock. You can't put that kind of guardrails on it. So
Exactly. It's punk rock to not follow the rules.
and
You know?
I'm trying to plug bands and records that I really liked this year. So, we can't have too many of those.
But it's been such a good year for music. I even had trouble doing it. I ended up making a top 11, and that was just like that was I felt restricted even there. I could have gone on to 36 great albums that have come out this year. I'm just reminiscing about me crying about making these fucking lists and going like, but everything's so good. It's like picking your favorite kid.
Do you ever look
Can't.
back at old lists though? Like the thing that I have actually gotten better about paring them down because I have a habit of going through, like Facebook will remind me of posts from 10, 12, 15 years ago.
Mm.
And so I'll look at what my favorite records were for that year. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I was like edgy. I did 22 records in my top 10. And then I look back at it, I'm like, I forgot that record even existed half the time. Like, so some
I
of it is definitely recency bias.
I have this. Oh,
I
good.
I actually I have a funny story without actually leading into my list because I posted my list on Instagram. I did a story with my list and a follower wrote me and went like, "What did you think of the new Hot Mulligan album?" And I was just like, "Oh shit." And I didn't forget it because Hot Mulligan, when they released Why Would I Watch This? That was my number one album. I still believe that this is one of the best albums that will ever be released in the 2000s in like the emo genre because it was such a beautiful and well produced album that the fact that Hot Mulligan's new album didn't even scratch anywhere. I think I had it down by Taylor Swift's new album, which I didn't totally like either. It's been a really weird year just for my music taste, because it was like Hot Mulligan for 2 years ago was like number one, and their EP they released last year, that was like it was a great EP too. And this year the Hot Mulligan's album didn't even like wasn't even brought into consideration. I just knew that that wouldn't even get an honorable mention, even though I'm speaking about it now. But it was so funny, just like having a number one best album and then going to down on my list. I felt that was, and it is a good album, but there's just been so many more better releases this year, if I'm being frank. And yeah, so shout out to Daniel, the banana from he used to be the banana from that ran around on stage with Bowling for Soup in the UK.
Oh,
So
funny.
so shout out to Daniel for pointing that out. Thanks, mate.
I always have this conversation with people of what are, and this is just your favorites in general. What are the favorites you say are your favorites, and what are the things you just put on in the background or put on as your comfort thing?
Mm-hmm.
Like how many times do you say this is your favorite band, and I'm sure you listen to that band a lot, but you put something else on, or like, with movies too. I do that with movies a lot, where I'm like, this is the movie I say is my favorite movie, but I've clearly seen this movie a million more times and had it on a million more times.
Yeah, I'm like that with Step Brothers. Step Brothers, Step Brothers is nowhere near my favorite movie, but I've seen, well, maybe it is, I guess. I don't know, because at least in the last decade, that's the movie I've seen probably more than anything else, if only because it's on TV all the time.
It
And
is.
I can't turn it off. Like every minute of that movie gets me every time. So maybe it's not my favorite movie, but I don't know. Maybe it is my favorite movie. I feel like it's weird to say that Step Brothers is your favorite movie of the last 15 years, but I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe it is. So who's
Um,
next? Who's doing? Who's batting in the two hole here?
I'll take it. I was just kind of looking at
You were looking
dates.
at your list,
I
going
was
like,
looking at my
yeah.
list and I was looking at dates because I didn't write dates on there. But I think I might have almost gotten it for the quarterly.
Mm.
That's what I was double checking because I was like, did I do that? Because I think I did that and had that in mind, and I think I almost made it because one releases like a day or two before September, so I think I was almost there. But I did mostly quarterly. My first one is Slaughterhouse, Sick and Tired. That was an EP they put out. Slaughterhouse, I don't know, have either of you seen Slaughterhouse?
No.
No.
It is their first, their early, they've had like, I love watching Slaughterhouse. They're great, but they're falling into this black flag of like, we've had like three singers since our inception.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that
And
sucks.
I don't know, the first singer didn't work out for whatever reason. I didn't get into him for until the last couple years, but the second singer, like, really good. I saw them open for Bad Religion at the Garden Amp 2 years ago, last year. When did they have that big punk rock show out here? The No Values one or whatever. That's when they were
Oh
doing
right.
small shows around that, and I saw them there, and fucking blew me away. Kind of TSOLE, kind of horror punk, kind of fast hardcore Black Flaggy type punk, and they were fantastic. They were great. They released this new EP, Sick and Tired, with has that song on there. But they also, I mean, to be almost on the nose, they do a cover of My War from Black Flag
Oh
with
funny.
female
Yeah.
vocals, and it's really, really good. My daughter likes that version much more than the Rollins version. I mean, it's a pretty straight cover. It's not, but damn, it's so good. That whole album, it's an EP. It's 5 songs. That one I listened to for a good 2 or 3 months straight. It was in there somewhere at least once a week because it's just such a good album. I saw them at Warped Tour, and then they had a different singer, and all it says on their website is that they have someone else singing for right now, and it seems like it's temporary, but I'm like, well, I've seen what happened with the other people, so is it? And the other
What
singer, to her credit, not she was great. She was fantastic when I saw them at Warped Tour.
I have been Googling while you
Yeah.
talked about and I have seen their drummer before, Nick Aguiar.
Oh,
He
okay.
looks like a kid, but he played with Mike Watt on
Oh,
a
did he?
tour, probably I think like just before COVID. I feel like it was before COVID. I forget what record, because Watt has 7 million records. I think that was for Jump Started Plowhards, something like that. Maybe when
Yeah.
that first record came out. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Nick played drums for Watt, so I met him and we chatted for a few minutes that day.
Oh,
He was a good
nice.
Jay,
kid.
Jay, I'm just gonna say, I think you made that band name up. That
What,
Who's
Jump
Mike
Started
Watt?
Plowhards?
No. Oh, someone clearly hasn't listened to a Mike Watt album ever. Because
Yeah,
if you listen to Mike
no.
Watt, you're just like, oh yeah, that tracks. It's for Mike Watt.
Mike Watt is his own. Like he I don't know. He's one of one. That guy. He talks in a way and uses words in a way that like nobody else ever does or has. He is like, yeah,
One of the nicest
yeah. That
people ever, though.
absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
I saw him, he played the first review I did for Dying Scene last year was he played in this building that was once a dance studio that my daughter had dance rehearsal in. And then
Oh
that
wow.
studio went they didn't I think they moved buildings, and then another company came in and they use it for like weddings and stuff. So the room I saw Mike Watt in, 3 years before that, I saw Emily do the Nutcracker in that same room.
That's amazing. That's
And then at
amazing.
the end of it, he was just like, "Who wants to come up and take pictures?" And so John and I went up and got pictures with Mike Watt and talked to Mike Watt for a minute. He was super cool, super nice, just walks. And he's a punk rock legend out here, and he's just walking around, didn't care,
Yeah.
just walking around, hanging out.
Yeah, as soon as his set was done here, he played in what was like essentially a wedding venue, like a wedding ballroom. And as soon as the set was over, he he had a Rubbermaid bin on stage with t-shirts in it, and he just like sold t-shirts for $5
Nice.
from the stage.
Oh, see, I wish you did that
From the
here.
stage.
Yeah,
From this, like sweaty as a bastard. Like that guy is, he sweats his ass
yeah.
off.
And he
And
was putting
just
his shit
like,
away and just
yeah,
like, come on up.
yep. I have a few good pictures from that night of Nick from Slaughterhouse. So,
Nice.
and I think one of Mike yelling either at Nick or towards Nick. I can't quite tell, because it was definitely like Nick's first tour, and he was definitely like 40 years younger than Mike and whoever was playing guitar with him too. So, because he was like he's his dad used to play drums with Watt back in the day, and now his dad got injured or something or can't play anymore. And then
Mhm.
Nick was playing, I think, something like that. I don't know.
I'm
It's been
sure
a
that
while.
looks good on a resume when you're trying to get into punk rock bands.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
My second album, and it was Chudson's "The Future of Unemployment." I got to interview the singer Colin a while back, and was just blown away by the album. It hits all the things you want ska albums to hit, and not even just like a modern ska album. I felt like there was a lot of like Impossibles vibes. If either of you listen to the Impossibles at all,
Negative.
No.
oh, the Impossibles are so good, and and they're just crazy. They don't give a shit. They're like DIY till I die. They're all straight edge kids. They play more house shows than they play venues. Well, there's not, as of this weekend, there are no other
Right.
venues in this area anymore, really. Outside of the Garden Amp, which is fantastic, but they don't always have that small room opened up. Fantastic ska punk from beginning to end. Just the way you want it to be, just young and fucking snotty. Not really snotty. I wouldn't say snotty. Very much like fuck you. Like this is what we're doing. Like it definitely holds up a middle finger, but it's not like shitty about it.
That's
If that
awesome.
makes sense.
Totally.
that album from beginning to end. It's short. It's only like a 25-minute album. It's you can get
It's a
through it.
ska album.
It's
Yeah.
ska. Well, no, I mean you get to like a
But
specials album.
there's normally 8 people in a ska band, and how
There
is the song then only how's the album then only 25 minutes?
you
When do the other members have time to play?
you should
You
check them
just
out.
you just
You
push the
make it
gas
work.
pedal. Yeah,
Yeah.
just keep it pinned. Yeah,
I mean,
I
and
like
Oh
that.
my
they're
god, it's ska and crack.
no, they're straight edge.
Yeah, it's not a reggae record, it's a ska record.
It's
Yeah. Like
I
I get it.
mean,
Yeah.
check out the Impossibles. That's the band I always compare them to. Is they
Mhm.
that's what it and that's what it felt like to me. Where it's just kind of wacky. They're nerds. There's a whole song about Watto from Star Wars from Episode 1,
Hell yeah. Yeah, yeah.
and yeah, um, and it's just there. I mean, it's a really good picture of youth. I think like a snapshot
Mhm.
of youth, and I think we all go into these assumptions of what youth is at this point and what what the kids are doing.
Right.
And I don't think anybody talks to them. And I think if you talk to them now, you'd be much more surprised. Jason, you seem like you talk to your kids, and I'm sure you talk to your kids, Karina. But like, I think
No,
my
no, no,
kids,
no,
I
no,
mean,
no.
no.
We don't talk. We just laugh at each other and
Oh,
then
that's
high
that's the
five.
way that's the way to do it. That's
That's also
100%.
appropriate.
Then yes, then if you're laughing at each other, then you are talking to your kids because that's the way to
No,
do
they
it.
talk to me. I don't anybody who says that my 10-year-old, no, my 9-year-old, he's 10 in June and
Mhm.
he's become a preteen already. And we don't really talk as much as he talks to me. And then when I'm about to reply, he just looks at me and like makes this face and then leaves.
That's okay. When I can't find something, since I'm 40 and old, Emily will just be like, "We'll just grab it and go. It's right here, you blind idiot. Did you not see it?"
How are you so blind, Daddy?
And everybody
Oh,
I think we were at like hockey or something, and it's a bunch of people who know who know us but don't really that know us. And Emily did that, and they're all like, and I'm all like, "All right, thanks, honey." And I just grabbed it like nothing was wrong, and they're all like, "She's not in trouble," and I'm like, "No, no, we were just
why?
fucking around. Why would she be in trouble for calling me a blind idiot? I was a
Exactly.
blind idiot in the moment."
Ah,
But getting back to the records, I mean it they are constantly playing house shows and they are constantly booking their own tours. They're not, he told me the Colin, the singer, told me about how he was like, yeah, I booked them all. I hit them up through Instagram. I'll email them. I'll call them if I can find a number to call them. I'll do anything I can to get a book. And they I don't know if they ever read that book your own fucking life book, but
Yeah, right.
they know the lessons from it at least. But they've dropped off shows where they found out people were like shitty. They're all like, "Oh, we're just not going to show up."
Wow.
There was
Good for them.
that. I was supposed to go see them play in a yoga studio, and they're like, one of the bands was they found out was like really shitty, and they're all. I think they told them like, "Well, if you don't have them drop them out, we're going to drop out." And then they ended up canceling the whole show because they they didn't play.
Good for them.
Yeah. They are 100% just like, nah, fuck this. I'm not doing this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, and I'm like, fucking all right. Yeah, like all right. So yeah,
Shout out to Chudson.
yeah, 100% shout out to Chudson. They're fucking great. I get to see them in January. They're playing at that big ska show again.
oh, that's
So
cool.
a band I saw over the weekend though, and they're my third record of the year, is Sleep Pod 2's Rehearse Your Future.
Hell yeah.
Sleep Pod 2 it's kind of an amalgamation of people who are in a bunch of other bands. I can't why I'm blanking on it, but it's people from Junior Juggernaut and Foreclosure, Todd from Game Face, and Julia and Guy from Game Face. Um, kind of playing the same, kind of the positive punk rock. It's a little
Mm.
poppier than like your Face to Face. But it's great. It's all fun. It's all good. Sometimes serious in subject matter, but like they're at this age where I think they know what subjects should be broached and how to broach them, and I think they do a good job in that. I mean, I think it's I think it's a lot of mental health stuff
Mhm.
and stuff like that that they have seen growing up. If you read my interview about Game Face, there's pretty traumatic things that happen with Game Face that kind of sets him on a path. It made much more sense talking to Todd about that, the path he took and why he took that path, and the good that's come of it because he did. But
I feel like that's such a thing. Like, I don't want to say this generation, because some of those people are our generation, but like putting that sort of depth into songwriting and addressing like mental health, especially in different ways, I think is such like a recent thing that I'm like, I appreciate that. I appreciate that in bands.
yeah, I mean, like the first, there's only 3 songs on it. All that we have each other is all that we have is each other is the opener, and it's a really good song about picking someone up when they fall down, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's subjects that Game Face and Face to Face have broached before. It's just the way that I just like the way that they do it. It's
It's the core of what punk rock should be about. Yeah. And I
yeah, and I
think
think
sometimes we lose
but
sight of that.
we do. We do. And I think because I think you're trying to stick to the roots, if you will, of what it was, and a lot of it was tough shit or stop crying, stop doing this. And I think it's evolved and it just takes a minute for others to see it if they ever see it at all. But my last album is one that Jason sent to me to review after we interviewed Jenny, and she told us about Homefront.
Right.
Oh, fun.
Homefront or Watch It Die is my 4th album of the year, and holy fuck.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, by the way. I don't know who to thank more, you or Jenny.
Right.
You, because I was already jumping on it for their last album, and then it just so happened the week that we interviewed Jenny is the week that you got the new album in the inbox.
Right.
And holy, did you go back and listen to it yet?
I have, yeah. I tried to listen to it once, and I guess I don't know if I wasn't in the right headspace or if my work laptop speakers are just that bad that it didn't land. But I have subsequently listened to it on my headphones, and it landed much better.
Yeah, I just keep telling you, it's New Order and Coxsparrer had a baby.
Right.
And it's just so fucking good. And I've seen multiple people post it and just be like, "Oh my god," and I just comment like, "Oh my god, this fucking album." Just everywhere. I've played the shit out of this album. I was listening to it right before I was folding clothes before this, and that's what I was listening to as I was folding clothes this morning. And it's such a good album. I miss them. They were touring with Coxsparrer, and I missed them. So didn't get to see.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they opened for Coxsparrer on this last tour. But I had another show to go to that night. Oh, you would have liked. That's when I went and saw Jack's Mannequin.
Right. I'm so jealous you saw that.
Let me get you a little bit more. My wife went and saw The Academy Is last night.
Fuck off. I've seen them too.
And here, I'll do this one. I didn't go to this last night. I attempted to make gingerbread cookies and failed. And Andrew McMahon from Jack's Mannequin came out and sang a song with Academy Is.
Okay, everyone, never mind. Podcast canceled. This is it. Can I just speak to your wife real quick? I really want to hear her thoughts on this show last night. Like, can she review it real quick for me?
Oh, if you go to her Insta, she's got all her videos put up.
Oh, fuck. Yeah.
We just launched a new podcast in the middle of this one.
This is going to be so weird. Just your wife looking at her, who's been watching her stories on Instagram, and then going like, "Who's Karina?"
I'll just be like, we're good.
It's not. It's
We're all right. Korea's cool. It's okay.
I.
She's had that before with people who know me, and I'm all like, oh no, they're fine.
They're fine. They aren't weird. I actually saw the Academy is back in 2023 at Slam Dunk.
Mhm.
That was like that was such a beautiful moment. That was 14-year-old me just going like, yeah, this was everything. But when you're young, and I think like the band itself, I think they're amazing still.
Mhm.
But I don't think they ever came to Denmark. I don't think they ever had the chance to come to Denmark, so I never actually saw them. And
Yeah.
I was like 30 when I got friends. Like now I have people I want to travel with and watch gigs. And yeah, watching the Academy is play was such a pinch me, this isn't real moment. But at the same time, it was kind of like one of those, I've seen them now. Now I don't need to see them again kind of thing. And it's not even being mean because they played super well.
Yeah.
It's just me going like, because I think there's two bands that I've seen a lot, and one of them is The Offspring.
How many times have you
I've
seen The
seen
Offspring?
I've seen them 4 times in like 3 years.
They put on a good, you know what? Despite I
Oh,
know a lot of
they're
people don't
great.
like them, but they put on a good show. And pending
They,
on, but they cater to where they're at because I saw them
exactly.
play at my first show was Dennis Donnell from Social Distortion passed away, and they had a big benefit for his family.
Mm.
They played a fucking punk rock show. I mean, they played the hits, and they were more punk rocky hits at the time. But they were playing stuff from their first album. They were playing Beheaded. They were playing their darker
That's
shit
awesome. Yeah.
than that. So, and then I saw them like 6 months later when they were on tour with Millencolin and TSOL. It was more poppy than anything. It was way more a stage production, way more poppy than
Yeah, but they're
what you'd
good at
expect.
interacting with the audience,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's why I keep coming back, because this isn't like me going out and shaming the Academy is on this. This is
Mhm.
just, I don't know if they were having a bad day or whatever. Bands have that sometimes. I've been to shows where it's like where I felt that they've spoken too much, but here I felt like I don't remember them really interacting with the audience, and I was kind of like, it's
You
fine.
know, every once in a while it'll be a band will do that. Like I know Oingo Boingo
Mm,
used to
Mhm.
not talk and just play music. And they wouldn't interact. They would play fast and squeeze as many songs in as you can hear. Now, like the last show they did, they play for like 2.5, 3 hours, and they talk in between because there's a little more reverence of
yeah.
them, mourning the end of the band. But like, if you do that, if you go to see them play, they didn't talk and they played
Mm,
everything, not like double time, like not like like halftime or whatever, but
Mhm.
like noticeably faster than the records.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just saying I'm willing to see them again, but I've also seen them, and now I've kind of moved on from it after that. I love Slam Dunk exactly because that they bring the nostalgia back.
Hmm.
Like bands I've always wanted to see and stuff, they do this. And I think it's great, but at the same time it's kind of like I also become very more like much more aware that I'm willing to expand my horizons.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I willing to see the Academy is again? Of course. Like this isn't up for a discussion. But William Beckett, please start speaking more. Like we don't bite. I think I can't speak for everyone in the audience, but I don't.
I will ask my wife how much the singer of Academy is spoke last night. Maybe like I said, maybe it was a time crunch and they wanted to make sure you guys got to hear everything you needed to hear.
Exactly, because when it's a festival, you have like a certain time slot. You have
Right.
like 30 to 45 minutes to give us your everything. But yeah, maybe I just need to, I don't know, once Trump fucking fucks off, I'll come, and maybe if I don't get banned for saying this, I'll come back to America and I can catch a show with your wife.
um you're right about the time set thing, because I always feel like whenever I saw a band at Warped Tour that I hadn't seen
Mm,
outside of Warped Tour, I always felt like I had to clarify with, "Oh yeah, I saw them at Warped Tour," because
Yeah, right.
and
yeah.
I think unconsciously doing it because it's not a full set. It's like 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes, whatever it was for that, which I understand. I always felt like the Warped Tour was just a comp CD that you get to walk into,
Yeah.
and you get to you get to go to each stage and watch the bands, and you get a little taste of each of the bands. It's
Mm,
and it worked. I mean, like how big is the music we listen to now
Hmm.
because of it? We can talk shit on this latest iteration. I can talk shit on that latest iteration of it all I want, but it has legs,
yeah.
and very much so legs that helped get this genre off the ground more than it needed to.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I think that like the festival, especially to speak to Warp Tour, like the music itself lent itself to half-hour sets. Like get in, get
Yeah.
out, get in, get out. That way we can get more people. And you don't need like a 90-minute social distortion set or a 90-minute MXPX set on a
That
95-degree day. Like let's keep it moving. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Like
that makes sense
plus
too.
it gives you much more time to see other bands and stuff too, rather
Yeah.
than knowing that, oh, so and so is going to headline and they're going to play for an hour or an hour and a half. It's like, well, that's not what it's about. It's about like a bunch of young, dumb, sweaty kids. Like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Yeah, it's a
Sure.
concrete festival. Let's just go out there
Hmm.
and kick our asses. We don't, and that's the same with Slam Dunk because it's one day and you have to fit. I can't remember how many bands you have to fit into just one day.
It seems like it's
But
like 20-ish, more than 20.
yeah, I think so. I think it's maybe 25. I actually don't know because they have four stages and there's a lot like because they have
That
time
would,
clashes and everything too.
yeah. I mean, that would make sense depending on how much you give everybody, and
I think it's 12 hours to be exactly. I think it's from 12 to 12.
hmm.
That's
I
why festivals are much better for, I think, small and mid-level bands. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's no reason to me. There's no reason to go to a big festival that Foo Fighters, Pearl Jam, Jack
Mhm.
White, or whatever is headlining. Like, I don't need to stand in a field all day or try to bounce between four state. Like, if you want to see a band headline and play their big headline set, like you're going to miss three-quarters of the festival anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, it's much better to see a bunch of younger, more up and coming or down and going, I guess, depending on the trajectory of the band. But like that's to me what a festival should be. You get the wider variety. You can see like 15 bands in the same day. That's to me is what like Warp Tour was when it was good.
So Las Killer Festival, dear listeners, I'm just gonna go all in on this one. This is a like 55-year-old festival, 54-year-old festival from Denmark, and they've had Nirvana playing, and it used to be very rock. But as the years grew, and like you have to sell tickets, you have to rebrand yourself and stuff like that. They kind of started splitting the days up a bit more. So like now you have one day where you know that there's going to be a shit ton of punk music or rock music playing or stuff like that. But this year they announced The Cure. And I remember I was to a concert for The Cure. Um and that was long. And I I'm I'm excited, but also I'm terrified for the show that they're playing because The Cure is a legendary band that has so many great albums, so many great songs, and how are you even going to be able to fit that in? It's going to be very
Right.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times.
Uh,
I was gonna say, that's kind of the same way when I went into the Warp Tour a week later. At the end of that week, I went and saw Less Than Jake, Fishbone, Suicide Machines, and Catbite.
yeah.
Yeah.
Out of
And
those,
the same day?
Yeah,
that
same
was one.
bill.
That was a
Oh,
big bill I went to at the end of the week. But out of those bands, the band that should have been playing is Catbite. They had to set up a show at Program in Orange County while the other three were playing Warp Tour. Like there was no reason to not include Catbite in the Warp Tour.
oh no, is it my turn?
It's
Do
almost like
do I do I have to do it in like order? Because
mine
I
weren't in order. Mine were not in order. Mine were
okay.
just
One of us stuck to the theme. I'm just kidding.
You know what?
one. Well, guess
I
what, Jason? One of us is not like the other.
I'm a guest here, so I played by the rules.
you know what? Not every apple's alike when you pluck it from a tree, Jason.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna say this again, Forrest. We have to start recording this and putting out small snippets so people can see how fun we are. Because that was so funny. So I don't know which album I want to start with because I didn't do it in quarters. I just did it from so I've had a hard year and I don't think we need to get into it because everybody here knows that it's been rough. So it's not I I've been listening to a lot more music because I've been much more homebound, which has been fun because I've started reviewing stuff I never thought I'd be reviewing, like electronic music, and that's so much fun. I can't even that's so much fun, like listening to how synths and stuff can be used. Okay, that's a different conversation. But I don't know which album I should start with because they're so good. I think I want to start with Hayley Williams's album because I could talk about that for a year and everybody will agree with me. It's the ego at the Black Bachelorette party. That's she randomly dropped on her website, which I feel like was such a brilliant rollout. It's her via the Post Atlantic label that she did because she's out of her Atlantic Records contract. But what I really enjoyed about the album was that it didn't sound like anything Paramore would do or anything that like even with This Is Why, I didn't get the vibes from that. It just sounds amazing. I mean, everybody's been discussing her relationship status because it does feel like it's a very open book album because she's very authentic and raw on a lot of the songs on the album, but and everybody's been questioning if she's broken up with her boyfriend, and I feel like that's such a fun discussion because as I think she released 17 songs at once back in August. Well, I know because I did a mini review of it, and then she's like been releasing other songs from the album up until the 5th of November when the album finally dropped. And I don't even know how to explain this song. It's sharp and it's witty and it's aware. Like she's not afraid to tackle shitty situations. And I mean, if you know Hayley Williams, she's not somebody who's known for being quiet and not speaking her mind. And I think that this album was her. Like she's done 2 albums before this, but this album was just much more, it was confidence and it was just beautiful. Like I can't even begin to describe how beautiful it is. And now she's coming to Denmark and I bought tickets with my friend Cecil. But that was have you heard it?
I was
I've had it
still
on my list. I haven't listened to it yet.
Oh, you need to listen to it.
I've heard. I dabbled. It's good. It's not
Yeah.
for me, but it's good.
How can it, Forrest? You need to get some relationship
Look,
problems. No, I'm
here,
not even. I'm kidding.
here's what you
You,
need to do. Here's what you need to do. Just have my daughter listen to it because I let her choose music in the car,
yeah.
and then I have no choice to then I'm like forced to listen to it because I'm that's how I got into stuff. I was like, I don't like this, and then it's just I hear it and I'm like, oh well, I hear this thing here that's pretty good. Oh, I hear this thing here that's pretty good. Oh, I guess I like this. Okay.
Get your daughter. I need to speak to her. I,
She likes good music for the most part.
I mean, the Haley Williams album is a good. It's a good one.
She likes
Okay.
Haley Williams. She likes Paramore.
I've
Yeah, but
seen her on a few podcasts
yeah.
promoting this record. Like she, I like her as a person. I'm not always a
Mhm.
huge fan of her music, but I like her as a person. Like she seems like she gets it. And
I
it sounds like an interesting record, so it is on my list. I just haven't listened yet. But
I actually I I don't know if we're going to face backlash for this. We might because this is probably going to be a hot take. I think that this album is the best thing, including anything Paramore's released, that Haley Williams ever done. And now we can get a shitstorm. Sorry, internet.
Looks like you're
But
just preparing yourself for hard times.
oh,
but
ha 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 ha.
Yeah, well, that's what
Can
you get.
sometimes
That's what you
can,
get.
that was a good. I mean, After Laughter was a good album too. Oh my god, I've cried so much to that album this year. Not so much when it came out, but this year I finally understood it. Holy shit. So the next album I took is, have any of you guys heard of Post Animal?
Post
negative.
Animal.
Okay, so
No.
it's hmm. So how do I explain Post Animal? It's like psychedelic indie rock. And what I really liked about this album, it's called Iron, by the way, is that Joe Carey from Stranger Things, before he blew up or something in Stranger Things, he was actually in this band, and it's they work so well together. And since he left in 2019 because Stranger Things started taking his time, and they released albums after he left. But what I really liked about why Iron actually ended up on my list was because that the whole band was together for the first time since 19, and it was just such a it was unexpected, first of all, because he also has his own solo material stuff, which I also love. But it's how fun the songs are. And when I say fun, it's not like, oh, it's joke band. It's how the lyrics are written, and it's how the songs are. It reminds it this is going to be repeated later on, but it reminds me of the Beatles, and it reminds me of every psychedelic rock band from the 60s in a positive way, because it's just it nothing's rushed in the songs. They're they're just they're there, and either you get it and then you don't, but I think you'll get it when you listen to it, because there's some sensitive songs in there, but then there's also some songs that actually has some riffs that are really cool. And then I think the opening song, which isn't even a song, it's like a 25-second intro, which sounds like cans being kicked, people laughing, and bacon being fried. It's just cool. And then one song that's just like maybe you have to, which is about the guitar, no, the drummer's abuelita that's passed away, and like all the voice notes that she's left is featured in the songs, and you just start crying. It's so beautiful.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a different kind of vulnerability that we aren't normally, as a listener, invited into. So the fact that they've taken that and just been like, okay, we can do this, and it lands with a lot of us, because I think we all have a grandmother that we adored. I know I do. And she's dead, so I cried when I heard that, of course. It's just it's just a band that's comfortable in being where they are, but willing to evolve and rediscover what's fun about being in a band. And you actually hear it, because that's what I mean when it's a fun band. It sounds fun playing with them. And if I could play an instrument, I would probably reach out and ask if they needed somebody to play a cowbell. I felt like one of the songs needed a cowbell.
Nice.
And then we have
This is Iron. That's the name of the record, right?
Yeah.
I'm making notes so that I can listen to all of these that I haven't listened to.
Oh, no, we could do a catch
As every listener should be.
As you all should be. You'll be
And
tested
Exactly.
next week.
Gonna scold you. Yes.
We will be doing a very fun quiz on Instagram next week. Please come back. And then we have I think my third, which isn't even my third. Actually, it is my third, because it's Pool Kids. Do you guys know Pool Kids? It's a band from
I
Tallahassee.
know of Pool Kids.
Yeah. They released the album Easier Said Than Done back in August. And I think it's the best album that they've ever released. And it's just they did an EP where they were like dabbling in math rock, and they've kept those math rocky riffs in a lot of the songs, and I really love that, because it made the whole album sound really interesting. And they have this weird technique in some of the songs. It's not weird, that sounded wrong. They have a different technique in the songs, like the way that they're layered, which just sounds different from anything they've done before. And I really enjoyed that album, because I was listening to the lyrics, and the last song on the album is called Exit Plan, which is the vocalist Christine, her name's Christine. I'm just like, because I get confused with Christine and Christina sometimes. Christine, she talks about missing tour, but at the same time missing being home. Like there's when you get home from tour, nobody really talks about the post-tour blues. And again, with the I'm not saying it has anything to do with mental illness, but it does. It's like the calm down after the tour, where you're just like, what now? And everything that you miss about being on tour, I think they describe it so beautifully without me ever having to be on tour. And then the first song on the album is called Easier Said Than Done, which is still one of the songs I've heard the most this year, because it's just like the whole mantras of I'm never gonna change, and it's easier said in the song, like in the same song. It's so empowering, because they're amazing songwriters and playing instruments, but the way that they write songs, it's a different level than I've actually really noticed before this album, and I've actually had to go back and listen to the previous two albums and be like, holy shit, they've been able to keep this level on every release, but it's just now that I'm in a headspace where I can relate to it. And I just think it's a brilliant album and everybody should hear it because holy shit, it's so catchy. Like Which Is Worse is super catchy. It just has a really catchy intro, and what's it called? Sorry Not Sorry. It kind of says itself what it's about, but the songs are really catchy. They have so many catchy hooks in it. And yeah, the lyrics will be stuck in your head forever, and it's just gonna suck not being able to listen to that album every day. It's just such a great album. Fuck.
That's probably the best thing you can say about a record is it would suck to not be able to listen to that record every day.
And it's true. And when you were talking about like when you go back to your previous lists, I actually feel like this is the most confident list I've ever released, because these songs that these albums I've picked are songs that have helped me mentally through like a shit ton of doctor's appointments and like been in my ears while yeah, on my way to the doctors waiting for results and stuff like that. And it's funny because this is the most authentic list I think I'll ever do, because I still listen to these albums, even like not right now because I'm listening to a lot of Christmas music now because of the kids and it's Christmas.
But of course.
But these are just albums that have touched me in a way that I don't think a lot of albums will ever do again, because I've actually had time to sit with them and return to them and just be like, holy shit, this is masterpieces. And on my list, like apart from these three albums I've mentioned, Arm's Length is on it. Their new one, no surprise there. Ben Quad with their new album Wisher, and Military Gun with God Save the Gun. Thank you.
That's an honorable mention for sure on mine. Yep.
Yeah, but again, like that was another one that hit me hard, and my number one pick, which wouldn't be so much of a surprise if you follow me on Instagram, that is Joe with The Crux, because I really like that was the last album I actually reviewed before I started having health problems and having to start doing a lot of tests. So that was like that was the last album I felt I could look back on with a certain kind of innocence. Like I didn't understand that I wasn't immortal when I was listening to that album, and I still go back to it because it just makes me smile. The album is it's a breakup album, I know that, but at the same time there's a song on there called Back on You, which is so beautiful. It's him thanking his sisters for being there and his friends for like being the brothers that he never had. And I really love that, because having one of each, like I have a son and I have a daughter, I can see that my son, he loves his sister the same way. So that for me, I was like, please, if my son starts making music, please do a cover of that song and then dedicate it to your sister, because you can't, like, that's unconditional love that is so beautiful. And just having someone sing about their own siblings that way, that's so rare. And then he had then one of the singles was Basic Being Basic, which I just loved because it was so silly. Like it's it's hands down so silly. But then you have Egg and you have Fly, and it reminds me of um uh, the album reminds me of what uh my mind is spacing on
That's
that.
okay. Magic of editing.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? Or Electric. No, not Electric Feel. Electric Light Orchestra.
I was about to say, it was an
Oh,
ELO.
ELO.
And I love that. It's funny that my mind spaced on that because I could feel I got nervous, but I also got emotional while I was talking about it because it was a different space because all these other 3 albums I've mentioned, they came after me doing 800 blood tests and me having a stressed out bone marrow and stuff, and me having to say goodbye to the outside world for a bit, while The Crux with Joe was this, it was when I could be carefree. And it's funny because that's not my life anymore. And so when I listen to it now, I pick up on a lot more of the musical influences. And so when I was listening to it the other day and I was listening to Basic Being Basic and what's it called, a bit of Egg and stuff like that, I was like, oh my god, ELO's in there. And I know the Beatles is in there because he's mentioned that, but it's just like, holy shit, this is when you get to sit with it, this is a brilliant album. And I wasn't even sure it was going to be, if you asked me 6 months ago if this was going to be my number 1 album because The Crux came out in April, I would have said no. But when I had to do my list and I started listening to it again, I went like, oh yeah, this is the album because it's so light. It's a breakup album, but it's so light, and it's very introspective. And it's like, oh shit, okay, he knows he's a flawed person. So that means that everybody else who like that's just a whole different introspectiveness that I've enjoyed on the album, instead of listening to albums where it's like, oh, okay, you dumped me, it's because you're a piece of shit. It's not me, it's you. I have nothing to do with it. So actually I enjoyed that because I often say that I'm the problem, and I think that's so fine. I mean, I'm a flawed person and I like my flaws. I can't really change them. I've tried. And if I've ghosted you lately, I'm so sorry, but please come back in 2026. I will have the energy to reply. But one honorable mention, because as I mentioned, I didn't know 6 months ago if this would be my number 1. And what's funny is that it's not even 6 months ago. It's probably back in August. And that was because I saw that Royal Otis released their album Hickey, which I've been listening to with my son a lot because I knew about them, but he discovered them on his own because they came on like as a radio thingy, like related artist on Spotify, and he was just like, which song is this? And I went, Say Anything by Royal Otis. And then they had released an album, and Cass and we were listening to it, and now it's like this big bonding moment of an album. So that probably deserved to be number 1.
It's pretty awesome how wildly different I think every release in all of our top 4, or however many if you include honorable mentions, is yeah, pretty interesting little gamut. That's what's awesome, because I have not heard a single one of either of your records, start to finish, aside from maybe the Homefront record, and that was just within the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
But I think it's fun that we all have different music tastes. Imagine if we had
Totally.
the same. Oh my
Yeah.
God, we would be able to pick the exact same albums.
I don't think I ever stopped liking the music, but I wasn't listening to newer bands. And I think that's one of the things that drew me to wanting to write for Dying Scene was the opportunity to get the, not even just a wider variety of bands, but smaller bands I wouldn't hear normally. And that's 100% what's happened. You know, some of these smaller bands I've made friends with, and they're super cool people.
Oh,
Yeah, that's literally my story when I started with Dying Scene 15 years ago, is I had been out of that world for such a long time, which in comparison wasn't, or in hindsight wasn't, I guess, all that long a time, but it felt that way. And I wanted to sort of get back into listening to new music, finding out, like, I had been listening to the same 5 or 6 bands forever. And now I have 5 or 6 new bands that I've listened to forever.
Here's some top 4 records from other people.
Hey, this is Andy Wiley, Dying Scene contributor and member of the Drowns, and these are my top 4 records of 2025. First up is a gothic rock band out of the UK called Creeper. They released their 4th album, Sanguivore 2 Mistress of Death, this year. It's a follow-up to 2023's Sanguivore, and it is fantastic. It's a big concept record following a band of vampires as they go out on tour. If you enjoy theatrical rock music in the vein of Jim Steinman with a gothic twist, this might be your new favorite record. Next up is the new album from UK band The Zipheads. It's called Rock and Roll Renaissance. This record is incredible. It takes inspiration from many of the greats in rock and roll history while putting its own flavor in the mix. It's got rockabilly, power pop, punk, and even ska elements, all blended to absolute perfection. I highly recommend checking these guys out if you haven't. And also, go see them live. The Zipheads rip it up. My runner-up for Album of the Year this year is Together from London ska outfit Buster Shuffle. If you enjoy upbeat two-tone style ska with rock and roll energy, you can't go wrong with Buster Shuffle. These guys are insanely talented. This album is fantastic from top to bottom. The musicianship is top-notch. The songs are brilliantly written and executed, and it's just a fun experience that you will want to enjoy on repeat. Again, great live band as well. And my album of the year, to the surprise of no one, is AFI's Silver Bleeds the Black Sun. This is a stunning piece of art. It's moody, cold, perfectly sequenced. They gave up their usual big chorus anthems for bleak poetics, and it paid off in a big way. I have had this record on repeat since the listening party at my local record store, and it will likely stay on my turntable rotation for quite some time. Alright, well that is my top 4. Thanks for listening. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for supporting Dying Scene, and we'll see you in the new year.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Chicago White Sox fan and taco enthusiast, Frank, aka Punk Junkie, here, with my selections for the top 4 albums of 2025. Coming in at number 4 is Never Enough by Turnstile. Turnstile has literally exploded all across the punk, alternative, indie, hardcore rock universe over the past 4 years. Never Enough is the follow-up to Glow On, and this album picks up where that album left off. This album is everything I love about this band: energetic, aggressive, sonically impressive, and just beautiful. Standout tracks: Never Enough, I Care, Sun Shower, and Seeing Stars. Number 3 is Better Days by Yellowcard. After a bit of a hiatus, if you want to call it that, Yellowcard is back with their brand new full-length album Better Days, and it feels like they never really left, honestly. The signature pop-punk violin-infused sound is front and center. The album is a true wave of nostalgia with all the energy and catchiness and chugging guitar riffs that you could want. It brings me back to the album Paper Walls, which is my personal favorite, but more relevant and uplifting. Standout tracks for me are Better Days, Take What You Want, Honestly I, and Bedroom Posters. Number 2 is Ways Away, I'm Not You. I can't believe in the span of 5 years we've gotten 3 albums from the punk post-hardcore supergroup Ways Away. This is a lot of music from a band that has already made an impact and doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. I'm With You is an absolutely fantastic album from start to finish. The album is loud, in your face, melodic, powerful, and just very addicting. I think this band should be on everyone's radar. Just listen to the entire album and you'll see what I'm talking about. And number 1 is The Starting Line, Eternal Youth. Every punk fan knows the album Say It Like You Mean It, as if it was an unofficial guide to living life in your 20s. 23 years later, The Starting Line, a little older, perhaps wiser, have released another album, Eternal Youth, that is much louder, bolder, and likely a guide for those of us who grew older with the band. Although nostalgia hits when listening, it really feels that the album hits you in a different way. Easily my favorite album of 2025, and I have to say Circulate is just the standout track of all of them, although the album as a whole is really good.
Hey, this is Andy from Rad Skulls, and I'm giving you my favorite releases from 2025. The first record I picked was Gato Black's Sky is Blue. It's a really cool blend of post-hardcore, melodic hardcore with some very personal and introspective lyrics. My next record is This Ain't Gonna End Well by Mean Bikini. This is just an awesome, loud, in-your-face punk rock record. My third record for 2025 is Let God Sort 'Em Out by Clips. The beats are awesome, the production is awesome, and with Malice and Pusha T on the mic, you're gonna get top-tier wordplay. The last record for 2025 is Waylon Jennings' Songbird. This album sounds as fresh, unique, and original as anything in his entire catalog. Thanks for listening. Stay rad.
Thank you for listening to 4 Records. Please check us out on Instagram at 4 Records Podcast or email us at 4recordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com.